All right. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Debbie Morrow, the founder of Real Estate Agent Referral Network and Marketing Tips Facebook group. And today I have with me Jason Weinberger of Future Proof Agent. And I just had a conversation with him kind of offline about his business and what he does. And I thought it was so interesting that I really wanted to give him a chance to tell you guys all about it. So, Jason, good morning. Welcome to the group, and so happy to have you on here this morning.
Likewise, Debbie, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Jason, kind of fill everybody in, like you did me, a little bit about your background and how you came up with Future Proof Agent.
Sure. So I've been a realtor since 2007. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. So I was with Royal LePage for 3 years, a Toronto brokerage. That's where I kicked off my career. Then I moved over to Keller Williams. I was with Keller Williams for 10 years. My time with Keller Williams was great. I served on the training faculty. I was one of the top agents in my office, downtown Toronto. And at that time, I was doing a lot of traditional prospecting, door knocking, cold calling, just doing what everyone told me to do, 20 contacts a day. And I was making some progress, but I just hated it. Truth be told, I hated the grind. I hated that feeling of climbing that uphill battle, never really knowing where my next deal was coming from, just always grinding it out and getting doors slammed in my face and getting hung up on. And at the time, one of my colleagues was doing really well with online lead generation. He was a top producer. He was basically miles ahead of everyone else in the office. So I connected with him and he told me that he was running ads on Google and he was having people come to him. So meanwhile, I was knocking on doors, chasing my next deal. And I remember this very vividly. While we were sitting at a Starbucks having coffee, his phone goes off and he says, "Jay, hang on a second." He jumped on a call and within 30 seconds, he booked an appointment. I turned to him afterwards and I said, "What just happened? Was that a sign call on your listing?" And he said, "No, somebody went on Google. They were searching for homes for sale in Vaughan, the neighborhood that he was focused on. They signed up on my listing and I'm showing it to them tomorrow at 3 p.m. And I was blown away. I couldn't believe it because here I was pounding away on doors, cold calling, hustling. He was sitting with me having coffee casually and leads were coming to him. So I was really inspired. That was a major turning point for me. He went on to explain what he was doing. He was working with a marketing company running online ads. So he set me up with the name and the contact, and I hired them. I felt like I was off to the races. So I was paying probably more than I should have every month for ad management and for leads. The problem, though, was that the leads were all over the map. They were like a 2-hour drive, north, south, east, west, probably everywhere I didn't want to do business. A lot of them were tire kickers. A lot of them didn't have the budget to buy, but I saw the potential. This was around 2014 where the internet was really revolutionizing everything from retail to transportation. And I knew it would massively disrupt real estate. So long story short, I stuck with that company for a couple of months. And about $2,000 later, where I didn't close any deals, I decided to set up my own Google Ads campaign. In fact, I bought a book called The Ultimate Guide to Google Ads by a guy named Perry Marshall. I read the book in one weekend and I was hooked. So I set up my first Google ad and I started to see some traction. I started to see some leads come through. Then I started to experiment. I started to try other ads. I started to target other neighborhoods. And then fast forward about 3 months, I was generating about 3 to 5 leads per day. So at that point, I had a really fun phone call to make. I called the internet marketing company I was working with and I said, "Thank you very much, but I think we're done." And I'll never forget her reaction. She laughed at me. She said, "Why? What's changed?" And I said, "Well, I taught myself how to generate my own leads with Google Ads." And she gave me a condescending "good luck." I think that ended up fueling my fire, to be honest with you. So fast forward the next year and a half, I doubled my business twice with Keller Williams. I was one of the top agents of my office of over 250 associates, downtown Toronto, King Street West. And I started really just going nuts. I was getting my hands on every book I could get. I was watching a ton of YouTube videos. I started to teach myself Facebook ads. My business continued to grow and evolve. And then I had people reaching out to me saying, what are you doing? Like, your business has just completely taken off. Like, what's your secret? So I started doing small seminars and training sessions at my office with friends and colleagues. The word started to spread. Then I would get invited to teach at other brokerages across Toronto. And I was kind of building a name for myself as the digital marketing online lead generation guy. So what happened then was I had a lot of people reaching out to me saying, Jason, I don't want to drive downtown to your office, parking, traffic. Do you have a webinar? That's when it dawned on me that I had to take this whole concept online. So fast forward the next 14 months, I developed an online coaching company. I launched it in August 2018. I called it Future Proof Agent. And I'm proud to say that almost 5 years in, we have 311 clients. We're across the US, Canada, and we've actually got somebody in the Middle East in Dubai. And what I do is I teach realtors how to generate and convert online leads using Google Ads, Facebook ads, email marketing and automation, and now most recently AI. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
It is. Interesting name, Future Proof Agents. So explain that to me a little bit.
Sure. So, whenever you come up with a company, the brand is so important, as we all know. And I kicked around the name for a while, and I wanted to help agents empower themselves with the tools and the skills to generate their own online leads so that they wouldn't have to rely on expensive lead providers or paying 35% to a pay-at-close marketing company. And I felt like the name really kind of symbolized the fact that they're able to have this skill set that will serve them for their entire career. So now what I find is that when people join the coaching community, they identify as a future-proof agent. And they like that because it's empowering. I'm teaching them the skill sets. We have a great community. There's a lot of top producing agents. There's a lot of newer agents too. There's agents who come from the door knocking world, from the cold calling world. Some agents have had a little bit of experience with online leads, but they're just looking to kind of take that to the next level. So I felt like that name really kind of embodied the community feel and really helping agents having the tools so that they can learn how to fish at the end of the day.
Excellent. Yeah. So tell me who is the right type of agent for you? Is this something that, a brand new agent would want to do? Is it something that's really more for seasoned agents? Like, who is that perfect agent that really this just does so well for?
Absolutely. So when I first got into the business, I tried everything. I mean, I cold called, I door knocked, I did a bunch of open houses, I joined professional networking groups, and I begged my family and friends for referrals until I was blue in the face and my cousins hated me. So I encourage every agent to try everything when they first get in the business, because different strokes, different folks. I don't believe that there's a cookie cutter solution for everyone. And I think newer agents should expose themselves to all the various ways of building their business. But at the end of the day, someone who doesn't like door knocking or doesn't feel comfortable door knocking, doesn't like cold calling, doesn't have a steady flow of referrals coming through, and doesn't want to pay $800 to $1,200 per lead, as many of these marketing companies charge, or 35% of their hard-earned commission on closing, that's ideally who I find I can really deliver the most value for, because I can teach them the skill sets where they can really learn how to get in front of their ideal client in their ideal neighborhood and essentially beat a path to their door. So it's kind of like the opposite of door knocking, where you can have people knocking on your digital door, so that now when you call them, for people that aren't, comfortable with cold calling, when you call an online lead, it's no longer a cold call, it's a warm call. And particularly for newer agents, I help with lead conversion. So I actually coach agents on scripts, objection handling, how to book appointments, how to get people out to see properties, how to really filter, sift, and sort so that we can find the motivated, so that we're not wasting time with people that are not serious and don't have the motivation. So it's not just about the technical stuff, it's also about the habits that I think new agents really need to build and ingrain in order to have a successful career.
So you kind of already answered mostly, I think, my next question, which was, what happens when they get a lead? I think you talked a little bit about that, but maybe there's a little bit more that you want to add to it. So feel free.
Sure. So when you get a lead, speed to lead is critical. It's been statistically proven across various industries that if you call a lead within 5 minutes of it coming through, your chances of converting go up by 10 times. So it's really, really important that you call them as soon as you possibly can. Ideally, if they're still on your website, because you're catching them when they're in real estate mode, before they turn their attention to work, family bills, and the million of other things they have on their mind. Now, that's not always possible, right? If you're busy, you have appointments, you have showings, you have inspections. But in the cases where you can't get to them right away, it's really helpful to have automation set up. So when somebody signs up, they're immediately getting an email that is professional. Ideally, you film yourself. So you put a face to your name and you can start to kind of weave your brand into the equation right off the bat. That's a powerful first impression, right? So one of the things I coach my clients on is how to record a quick and easy personalized video that just says, "Hi, it's Jason Weinberger with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for registering on my site. I look forward to following up with you shortly and helping you with your real estate plans," right? Just that alone really separates you from a lot of other people. Most agents never call leads back. And if they do, it's kind of an afterthought. They'll call them in a week, 2 weeks, or maybe never, right? So having automation built in where you send out automated emails, text messages, and especially incorporating video. That's something that really helps with nurturing and converting and making a positive first impression. But at the end of the day, I still believe in the power of the phone. As much as people feel like it's a dying breed and no one answers their phone anymore. I used to call people when I first got into internet leads, mornings, afternoons, evenings, weekends. I'd switch up my patterns. At the end of the day, the more at-bats you take, the more successful you'll be. But you got to have those automation systems in place as well.
Excellent. So I guess last question, if someone wanted to chat with you to see if this was a good fit for them, how would they do that?
Yeah, so if you'd like to schedule a Zoom call with me directly, where I can get a better understanding of your business, I can walk you through the program and kind of share my screen and show you kind of a back-end tour. There's going to be a link, I guess, beneath this video in the description or in the comments. So you can just click that link and it'll set you up through my calendar. You can book a date and time that's convenient for you. If you're not ready to chat with me just yet and you'd like to learn a little bit more about the company and the program, you can just find me on futureproofagent.com.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, thank you